It's the Dell and Bato Show, episode 3, Super Bowl special show today with Anthony Del Fiacco. I am Matt Barbato, and yes, this is episode 3 of the Dell and Bato Show. Um, and it's Super Bowl week, and we are just a few days away from the big game. Philadelphia Eagles, New England Patriots. Once again, I'm going to have to suffer through another Super Bowl featuring Tom Brady. I know, I think a lot of people are sort of oversaturated with the Patriots kind of dominating the AFC as of late. But it could be worse. You could be a Jets fan. So Now, how you doing on that note?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm not a Jets fan, so every day is automatically at least a decent day because of that, sports fan wise. I'm going to tell you right now, this is definitely not the last we're going to see of Brady and Belichick, that duo in the Super Bowl. I think those two have at least two more Super Bowl berths in them, and it's going to be probably in the next 2 years because it's just I really can't see any team in the AFC ever knocking these two off their pedestal.
Right.
I mean,
Only retirement will. Only retirement. And
only retirement. It's it's hard initially to just get a lot of excitement for this matchup, and I know I'm not alone in this. Of course, because Carson Wentz can't make it for this matchup, and then, of course, and we're going to get to the Eagles quarterbacks in a bit, but also just because the freaking Patriots, again, as always.
It's awful.
It's one awful. A writer that whose work I really admire, he had a article this past week on his experience with one of the last Bears-Packers tailgate of this past season.
Mm-hmm.
He's someone who was actually a Patriots fan, knowing full well how evil that organization is. And then finally this past year, he's just like, you know what, screw it. It gets to a point where dynasties are even boring for me, and I just don't like football anymore. That's just basically where he's coming in on this. And the best description I've heard for the Patriots' continued success came from him. And it's just like they're like an aging Soviet leader who doesn't know how to die with dignity, so they're just always here.
Yeah, I mean, there was 2 Sundays ago. There was a small glimmer of hope when the Jaguars were up 20-10 or something. Maybe, just maybe, Blake Bortles and his band of Jags was gonna go into Foxborough and pull off a massive upset. And that's a good way to describe it. I described the Patriots simply as a cockroach. You cannot kill them.
That's the best description.
You cannot kill them. Nuclear war cannot kill them. There's no killing Tom Brady. There's no outsmarting Bill Belichick. And it's honestly like I hadn't gotten.
Nature hasn't even figured out a way to make Tom Brady age. So how do you expect other people to do it?
Yeah, the TB12 method apparently pays off. Is
that what he calls that method, where he just like drinks salt water or something, and he says that makes you live longer or whatever the hell his stupid hustle is?
Apparently, yes. It's all his gimmick and his bullshit with that trainer, and that's where like the whole reported rift between Belichick, Brady, and Kraft, it seems like it started, was with Brady's trainer Alex Guerrero. And I mean, this is another interesting topic. You said the Patriots probably have 2 more Super Bowl berths left in them.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So I take it you're not taking the cheese at all from that ESPN story that sort of claimed that everyone in New England hated each other and Brady and Belichick were at odds, and that this could be the last year of the dynasty, because that was ESPN's becoming like Bleacher Report, where they just kind of take the bait on everything so they can get clicks. So you're not buying into that report?
Well, no, I mean, I don't doubt that they all probably hate each other. That seems actually very likely, but I don't see them hating each other so much that they will let that affect on-field performances, at least in the near future. And you raised a good point about ESPN kind of baiting for clicks nowadays. With the way news is, the way the industry is, you kind of just have to chase those clicks, chase that ad money now. So it's a little annoying when they post obvious bulletin board material, like what I imagined that that article's purpose was to kind of psych up. Was it before the conference title game or was it before the divisional against the?
I think it was. I think it was before. It was. I think it was in between wild card round and divisional round. There might have been during the wild card week.
Yeah, that was again bulletin board material just to psych up the Patriots' next opponents into thinking we can do it, we can end the dynasty. And I don't know. I mean, the '85 Bears all hated each other too. The offense and the defense were
Right.
essentially their own, each a separate team.
Right.
Buddy Ryan and Ditka hated each other, and look where they got. So, sports is definitely an arena where you can absolutely hate your coworkers and still make it work, still make the company perform well.
Yeah, and the Patriots, you know what? They haven't missed a beat, and they are here again in the Super Bowl. And then you go to the flip side, and you got the Philadelphia Eagles, who have been underdogs in every playoff game they've had this year. They're led.
I love that underdog thing they're doing with the dog masks.
Yeah, and now they're monetizing it now, so that's great.
Of course they are.
And once again, they're underdogs. The spread opened, I think, at Patriots -5.5 or 6, and it has dropped. Money is coming in on the Eagles, and now it's about 4.5, depending on where you look. Just how surprised are you that the Eagles, with Nick Foles, have made the run they've gone on here?
You know, some people were saying, well, plenty of people were saying during the season that they couldn't really tell how good Carson Wentz was, because maybe he's just a systems quarterback, and that's just how the Eagles offense is meant to work. It's meant to make a star out of its quarterback. And Nick Foles' performance against the Vikings really strengthened that argument, because Nick Foles was just lights out against what was the best team in the country. And I gotta say, I like their chances against the Patriots defense. Again, we'll get to that in a little bit. I'm feeling a lot more confident about the Eagles than I did towards the end of that NFC title game, or before that NFC title game. And especially I'm feeling more confident in them as opposed to where I was before the playoffs even started. I'm really impressed with how he's been. The Eagles were, they didn't get to a 13-3 team just on Wentz's strength alone. So I like the idea of them keeping it close with the Patriots. The Jags kept the Patriots close, and how much better is Nick Foles, or how much worse is he than Blake Bortles? So we'll see.
Yeah, I think what makes Philadelphia and Jacksonville a little bit similar is they're both obviously led by kind of mediocre quarterbacks in Bortles and Foles, but they also have really, really talented front sevens, and they have a lot of parts that can be played interchangeably along the defensive line. And as we saw, I mean, the Patriots ended up winning that game, but Jacksonville got to Brady pretty often. And there were points where it looked like Brady was sort of seeing ghosts out there with pressure. So I think Philadelphia can replicate that sort of pressure.
Absolutely. The Eagles have a great pass rush. They've got a great front line. What you said about the Jags' ability to get to Brady was interesting. I read that the Jaguars maybe only blitzed the Patriots 4 times in that game, 3-4 times in that game. One forced a crucial incompletion to force 4th down, but even without doing that, the Jags still didn't have much problems in getting to Brady. And I definitely think the Eagles can replicate that sort of success, especially considering that the Eagles defense wasn't anything to scoff at during the season either.
No, it's well coached. Jim Schwartz is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL, and I'm sort of surprised he didn't get more of a look for a head coaching gig this offseason.
Yeah,
but you look at Philadelphia, and they've got 4 guys who recorded 5 or more sacks this year. Brandon Graham 9.5, Fletcher Cox 5.5, and then you got Chris Long and Derek Barnett, who each recorded 5. So they have a really deep unit. They can swap guys out. They have good depth with Vinny Curry, Timmy Jernigan. They have a lot of parts who really do a good job in their respective roles, and that could give New England a hard time. If they can get to Brady, I said this on another show. I think if they can sack Brady 4 times, I think the Eagles will be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy.
Hmm. Yeah,
Those,
I definitely don't doubt that at all. So what you want to do with the Pats offense is, well, first let's talk experience, and this is hardly anyone on that team's first rodeo. It's hardly their second rodeo either. There's no getting into Brady's head, I think, at this point. So what you got to do is just contain him a little bit and just get to him. The Pats offense had another, lights out season. I'm looking up at the stats. First in overall efficiency, first in passing, third in rushing, first in points per game. One stat that stuck out to me while I was doing my homework before this was they averaged a little more than 6.5 plays per drive, which is tops in the NFL. They're a team that can easily stretch out drives.
yeah.
So with the Eagles, with Jim Schwartz, what's key here is, again, get that front four getting to Brady. And they're maybe going to want to use man coverage just to kind of contain the receivers long enough to give that pass rush time to get Brady. One thing I read in some previews is to expect them to use a nickel package where they're going to have Corey Graham as a third safety coming in, which will kind of leave the Eagles open to running. But the Eagles have so far, their defense has so far done a good job of kind of daring teams to go there, but still doing a good job of keeping the opposition off the board. They'll have to also watch out a little bit for that for those Patriots running backs. Not so much in their ability to pound the ball, but in just Brady is really good at using James White and Rex Burkhead and Deion Lewis as just extra receivers. Together they combined for like something close to 900 receiving yards. So the Patriots have a lot of weapons to work with, of course. So the Eagles will have to just kind of give them, not worry so much about like going down their throats, but watching how the Patriots offense opens up to them play after play and seeing, okay, this is what they're going to go with. Here's how we contain them.
Yeah, I mean, Brady, what he does best and why Philadelphia cannot play a zone coverage at all in this game is when Brady can figure out what you're doing at the line of scrimmage, he will pick you apart. And it's pretty easy to figure out, zone coverage. All you have to do is send a guy in motion and see if anyone trails with him. So, zone coverage is not going to work against Tom Brady. You have to go man on man, and you've got to be able to rely on your pass rush to say, hey, we got to get to him. And you've got to disguise blitzes. And Jim Schwartz, he's as good at that as anybody in the NFL. But the point you made about the running backs, that's important too. Part of the reason the Patriots have been able to sort of just keep humming offensively, I know they have Brandon Cooks and Danny Amendola and obviously Gronk, but they've sort of been missing that auxiliary piece in the offense, like a Julian Edelman to beat defenses underneath, sort of a safety valve. Because Cooks has been mainly a downfield threat this season, and Gronk is Gronk. I mean, obviously, if he plays, I think he'll see plenty of double teams. But what those running backs are able to do is they're sort of able to resemble what Edelman represented to the offense. And it's even more of a threat because it's coming out of the backfield, and you're going to have probably a linebacker matched up against him. So whether it's Lewis, whether it's White, whether it's Burkhead, I would expect to see the Patriots running backs get targeted pretty often in this game, especially, and I don't think this will happen, but especially if Gronk doesn't play. And I really do think he's playing. I don't think he's going to miss the Super Bowl. The NFL has so many teams have swept the concussions under the rug. I mean, look at what Carolina did with Cam Newton in that division, wild card round game against the Saints where he got his bell rung and he came back in. So I think Gronk plays.
Really dark that they're so good at doing that nowadays.
Oh yeah,
that's for another episode. It's just
we're not talking concussions, but I'm just saying I think he's going to play whether he's still concussed or not. But like you said, Patriots running backs have recorded more than 900 receiving yards this year. That's staggering for an entire unit that's not named wide receiver. So I think Brady's going to rely on his backs heavily in this game. I think they're going to sort of do what they've been doing all season. And it could come down to whether a linebacker blows a coverage on Deion Lewis in open field. It could come down to those sort of big plays, those moments
Of
when
course.
Brady can get one of his backs on an island.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, the Eagles will have to play a perfect game, and
Yeah,
that sounds cliched to say, but the Jags probably played like if you had to grade them, I'd give them maybe like a 90 to 95%.
yeah,
They
I'd
did a
agree. I'd
fantastic
agree.
game the other Sunday, and it just wasn't enough because they couldn't really clinch it at the end when they had the ball. They couldn't really sink that dagger in. And then, you give Brady, of course, time to be the hero, and he's going to find those short routes just to uh, pick away at the defense. He's going to find, if it gets to that point where the Eagles have like a late lead and it's Brady's turn to, uh, be the hero for the umpteenth time, yeah, I could definitely see him greatly utilizing White, Burkhead, Lewis a lot just to kind of chip away, move those chains, and then maybe look for Gronk or Brandon Cooks for that customary big play you expect out of those two.
Yeah, if the Eagles can sort of suffocate the ball and sort of maybe not own time of possession necessarily, but sustain drives, move the chains, even if they're not scoring, if they can get a first down or two on every drive or most drives, it's going to play a big role because as you saw last year, Falcons. Granted, the Falcons did everything they possibly could do wrong to lose that game.
In the second half,
And
absolutely.
they sort of had a massive brain freeze, and it seems like teams just happen to go into a shell against New England, no matter how big the lead is. It's very annoying, but
Exactly. You have to never take your foot off
yep,
their throat.
yep, you have to keep your foot on the pedal. And I just think if you can average, like if you can match that 6.5 plays per drive that the Patriots have had this year, if you can match that on Sunday, it's really, really, really going to benefit you because it's simple, but the less time Tom Brady has on the field, the less plays he has to work with. I'd make sure I'd take at least 30 seconds off that play clock every time I go to the ball, unless it's a stop clock, obviously.
Of course.
But you have to sort of suffocate the ball, especially with a lead. And I'm not saying go conservative. I'm saying be smartly, wisely conservative. Don't take too many downfield shots. Don't get too crazy. Don't break out the wildcat. But you really have to. You're right. You have to sort of have the perfect game plan, and you have to have a play caller who can sort of block out the situation per se and call the game as he sees it. And I think what I will say about the Eagles is they're really, really well coached. Doug Peterson has proven to be a great, great coach. And it's funny because the Eagles actually wanted Ben McAdoo as their first choice, and it's a good
No
thing.
kidding.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
he was on top of their list, and then he picked the Giants.
Lucky them.
Yeah, that's the break sometimes in the NFL, but he's assembled an unbelievable staff. Frank Reich, the offensive coordinator, another guy who I thought would get more looks as a head coach this offseason. And then a guy who I think is a rising star in the coaching ranks, John D. Filippo, quarterbacks coach. He's done wonders with Wentz. He's done wonders with Nick Foles. So, you know what? And with Jim Schwartz calling the defense, I'm not saying anybody has a tactical advantage over Bill Belichick, Matt Patricia, and Josh McDaniels. But Peterson's staff could come pretty close.
I mean, that's easily, if you got to think about it, that's definitely got to be maybe the best overall staff in the NFC.
It's one of them.
Way up there. Way up there.
1, 2, or 3 probably.
Of course.
Yeah, they have the coaching chops to keep
this season definitely shows.
Yeah, and you just can't have those brain farts. That's what it seems. It seems like, and it's amazing because a team like Jacksonville made maybe 4 or 5 really crucial mistakes in that game. Some of those penalties they had were inexcusable, but
of course, yeah.
4, 5, 6 crucial bad mistakes, and that's pretty good against the Patriots, and they beat them, and they make you pay. They make you pay every time. So you can't play a perfect game in the NFL, but you can play a damn near perfect game.
Of course, and that's. I mean, the difficult thing with the Patriots is they're so well conditioned to this sort of thing from, Brady at least and Belichick having done this for almost 2 decades now. Beating the Patriots at this point, keeping after them, going after the jugular on almost every single drive, not playing to lose against them, that's exhausting,
It is.
even
It
more
really
like
is.
football is of course an exhausting, brutal sport as is, but just to kind of keep up with that team that will never ever let you shrug off a mistake, that's really exhausting. It really is like a war of attrition with the Patriots. It happened in the Super Bowl last year. It happened with the Jags in that second half. It's just you cannot. It's difficult to go up against a dynasty like the Patriots and always keep at them. So I can almost understand some teams like getting to the point where it's like, okay, we might have put ourselves in a safe spot, so let's try and game manage a little bit. You just can't. You can't get caught doing that.
Right, right. Just try and limit the mistakes. Don't go fully into a shell, but you gotta still take some shots every once in a while and stick to your game plan like it's like you're up 3 instead of up 17. You know what I mean? That's what
Of
teams
course.
seem to forget to do. Should we leave them hanging for our predictions? Should we wait to the end of the show to do predictions and we go into the prop bets a little bit here?
Um, should we talk a little bit about what the Eagles should look to do on offense, maybe, or because
Yeah,
we pretty
absolutely.
much focused
Let's
on
we did kind of one-sided.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think offensively, you know, they haven't been shy with Nick Foles. I mean, they
mhm.
haven't tried to hide him. I mean, we saw that last week against Minnesota, and I would say Minnesota has a much better defense than New England. Um,
Oh, certainly, very much so.
it's an interesting matchup because I'm very curious to see how the Patriots cover Alshon Jeffrey. I'm very
Uh,
curious to see how the Eagles, sort of interchange their backfield with Ajayi and Blunt. And I think the X factor could ultimately be Zach Ertz. I think he's the most reliable
Definitely.
weapon on that offense. So how the Patriots scheme against him, I think will be fun to watch because you think about the Eagles and none of their playmakers have had really really huge years except for maybe Ertz, but they've all been like very steady, very reliable. And it's going to be interesting to see how Belichick and Patricia go at that.
Of course, and the Patriots defense. It's I talked a little bit earlier about how the Jaguars just couldn't put that dagger in. Um, the Patriots specialize in that sort of thing because they are not a flashy defense by any measure. Again, I'm bringing up the stats like towards the bottom of the league in overall efficiency, 21st against the pass, 30th against the run. But what's interesting is that they were fifth overall in scoring defense and they were second best in the red zone. So they're the ultimate bend but don't break sort of defense. They may put themselves behind early, but when it comes to crunch time, they will definitely fight tooth and nail to make sure that the opposing offense just coughs up those mistakes that Brady will be more than happy to capitalize on when it's the Patriots' turn with the ball.
What I think Philadelphia might have a pretty decent advantage in, I think they could really control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Philadelphia's offensive line, even without Jason Peters, who's a stud tackle when he's healthy,
Yeah,
they really do maul teams. They control the line of scrimmage, they control the ground game. They might be able to have some success against the Patriots front seven that I just don't really think is that great. And I think that could be the key to the game too. If Philadelphia can average like 4.2 yards per carry against New England, that might be enough to win the Super Bowl. So I really like
and that's a
Lane
winning
Johnson.
recipe if you're playing any team, averaging for
Yeah, yeah, it's,
over
it's
four carry.
definitely. I think Philadelphia might be able to control the line of scrimmage against New England's defensive line. I mean, they've got some maulers up front, Kelsey, Lane Johnson. They've got a
Mhm.
couple of tanks up front. They found a nice replacement for Peters at tackle, so there are some stars along that offensive line, and if they can sort of beat the Patriots up on the interior. It could be very tough for New England to get stops regularly and turn the ball over to Brady.
Of course, it's just all going to come down to how they play the third and fourth quarter if they can keep it close, and they definitely can. They're a good enough team to do it. I trust Nick Foles to do about as well as I'd say. I don't know if he's going to have the game that he had against the Vikings, where he was at 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That definitely won't happen.
No, I don't see that either. But if he can play a little bit better than Bortles did, and Bortles had a very workmanlike game himself, maybe add another touchdown um, than Bortles had. Yeah, I could definitely see the Eagles keeping this close and taking home the Lombardi Trophy.
I do think it will be a close game. I
Uh-huh.
don't really think New England can blow out Philadelphia, and I think that's the more likely scenario. I don't think Phil. I don't have. I have. I think there's no shot Philadelphia blows out New England. Now, I guess I probably said that last year too about Atlanta, and then here we are. They're up 28-3.
Uh-huh.
That was on the verge of a blowout, but I don't think. I don't think Philadelphia has that explosiveness on offense to make that happen. So I think this game. I think this game could be within like single digits the whole way, maybe even a touchdown.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I could see that. Um, I'm really glad. I kind of feel very uh, encouraged by the way the Eagles beat the snot out of the Vikings because I was hoping for a good game between those two, and I was cheering
Same.
for the Vikings to host the Super Bowl
Right.
in their own stadium, of course, especially
Definitely.
after that miraculous Hail Mary touchdown against the Saints. But just the fact that they smashed that Cinderella story aside, the way they smacked around Minnesota gave me hope that we won't see the Patriots at least coast to another title.
Any other closing thoughts on this matchup, or should we move on to the props? What else you got? Anything?
Let's move on to the props. Should we do the
All
pick
right.
at the end?
We'll do the picks at the end. I want to keep the crowd waiting. I think that's the suspense is just too much. I bet they're probably dying to know who we're going to pick.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Well,
So let's hear about the props.
yeah. So as I said earlier in the show, I just can't really get up for the Super Bowl. I'm sick of the Patriots. I'm rooting for the Eagles. I hope the Eagles win. I wish them the best. But it's just the damn Patriots. Well, if you're not interested, if you don't have rooting interest in the game like me or Dell, I guess, prop bets. I mean, there's so many prop bets. It's amazing. You can bet on literally anything about the Super Bowl. So figured we'd go through a handful, some of my personal favorites and some random ones I see scrolling down the page. These all come from betdsi.eu. They are not a sponsor. They are just the first link I stumbled upon because there are just so many damn prop bets. You need like a whole list of them just to keep them all straight. So I figured we could just go through. I'll read them off. You can make your prediction if that's what it is, I guess, for some of these arbitrary bets. And then
Okay.
we'll move on. I'll make mine as well, and then we'll keep going down the list.
Okay, let's have fun with this.
All right. We'll start with my now this is a prop bet. I think I bet this year since I started like really gambling. Um, the over under on the length of the national anthem. I
Um,
don't know how much you are familiar with Pink. She is singing the national anthem. And the over under on the national anthem is 2 minutes on the dot.
I'm very familiar. I think everyone's very familiar with Pink. We were talking, Valley and I, during the Grammys last week, that Pink has pretty much like put out. It seems like a consistently just one big hit at least one big hit every single year since, I guess like '01. She's a good talent. I like her. Um,
I can't think of a song
I
she
can't
did.
Uh, you know what? I'm blanking too, but
Oh,
but a lot of familiar
hold on.
songs that if I probably like played like her biggest hit every single year, you'd probably think to yourself, "Oh yeah, that was on the air for half a whole year." Let's see. The prop bet is you said over under 2 minutes on the dot. I'm gonna go with over on that one. I can see her putting a little bit of flourish to the national anthem, and our national anthem's like I think pretty long as far as national anthems go. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like ours takes a little bit longer just when I see it played during the Olympics or the World Cup. So
So
I'm gonna go over.
you in general just think the national anthem, since it's in general longer, that it'll probably go over.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. So I love this one. I went with the over as well, and this was actually I put like a pretty size. I put like $15 on it, which is like a pretty sizable wager for me. I know
Uh-huh.
it's like peanuts probably to the big sharks in Vegas, but hey, I'm a shark in my own mind. Yeah, I love the over because I feel like Pink, from what I can remember of her, she always has like these very long ballads or like her. I don't know. She's got like a pretty good voice, so I feel like she can stretch out those big notes. Like I remember when Luke Bryant sang the national anthem, and that guy, he sounds like a blender and a garbage disposal getting in a fight. So
Oh man.
he can't really sing very well, so he can't really hit those, long notes that you need to sort of drag out for you to hit
Yeah.
the over. I think Pink indoors, her hometown team's in it. I think she's going to be pretty jazzed. 'Cause she is an Eagles fan, actually.
No kidding.
I
All
think
right.
she's going to.
Good for
I think
her.
she is going to holler and just blow the national anthem out of the water. I do think
Like I
it'll
said,
be
put a little bit of flourish on it.
right. Yeah, I think she'll, extend those notes, home of the brave, and that could go on forever and ever and ever. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. I am so hopefully that pans out for my financial state.
Okay. So,
All
what's
right,
the next
next
prop
up,
bet then?
what's that?
What's the next prop bet?
We've got here's a good one for you, a little fashion. The color of Bill Belichick's hoodie. Your
Ooh.
options here, and I'm doing them in order of which one has the best odds, aka the most likely to happen.
Okay.
Will he wear a gray hoodie, a blue hoodie, or a red hoodie?
I don't think he is ever going to wear a red hoodie again after um because the only time I've ever seen him wear a red hoodie was the Super Bowl in which they blew the 18-0 start. Um, so I can't imagine
Yeah.
him. I feel like he's enough of a miserable son of a bitch to think that like his weird fashion choice had a hand in that. So I can definitely see him going with just grizzled old gray.
Okay.
I mean, this seems
I
like
think I'll go
this
with
seems like a pretty safe one.
gray. Okay, yeah, gray is the favorite. So I'm gonna go blue. I don't know. I don't know why. I just, they're wearing their whites. Maybe they'll have a little bit more pop on the sidelines with the blue sweatshirts and the gear for the players who aren't playing. Um,
Okay.
I'll go with blue. I have no idea why. I'll just go with blue.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, so the game is being broadcast by NBC,
Okay.
and I'm sure one of your favorite analysts on NBC's Football Night in America is Tony Dungy.
Oh yeah, love me some Tony Dungy.
I figured.
Love all
He's
his
very,
opinions on
very
everything.
inspirational. He's very inspirational. And this is an interesting bet, and it's interesting because of how the odds are laid out. Who will Tony Dungy predict to win? The Eagles are the overwhelming favorite at minus 300, which means you'd have to bet $300 to win $100. Meanwhile, the Patriots are plus 240. So if you put a $100 bet on him to pick the Patriots,
Uh-huh.
you would win $240. So I'm kind of interested in what you think about this. I can't remember. Is Dungy like a Patriots hater or something? I know he coached for the Colts, so he kind of went up against them a lot. But
Of course.
Tony Dungy is unbiased and he is as objective as they come.
Okay, so in case my terrible ability at projecting sarcasm, um, showed through a couple seconds ago, I actually don't like Tony Dungy. I just wanted to
I think it went. I think people got it.
make that very clear. Good, because again, I'm horrible at sarcasm. I don't really remember him being much of a Patriots hater. I feel like he's someone who has, over the years of getting smoked by the Patriots so many times, like developed a begrudging respect for them and how their dynasty just stands in terms of like what it means for like what they managed to accomplish over, again, 2 decades in the league. I could see him going smart and just picking the Patriots on this one.
Yeah.
I don't really think, who would you think on that panel would be the odds-on favorite to be the one who picks the Eagles? Because I feel like there's going to be one guy who picks the Eagles on that.
Peter King for sure.
Peter King?
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
Peter King just loves to be a little gremlin and just mix and yuck it up. Yeah, I think he picks the Patriots too because I don't know. I understand like he coached against Belichick and the Patriots and Brady and lost to them a lot, but like I said, and this is completely serious, Tony Dungy is as unbiased and as objective as they come for
Uh,
analysts. So,
yeah.
and he's inspirational. Did I mention that earlier? He's very
Yeah, you might have mentioned that.
okay. Okay, just
I can
making
even
sure.
just see him mentioning all the times that he played them in his career,
I'm sure.
going
I'm sure.
to his like I can hear like almost hear him scripting it now, just saying that a lot before he goes with just the simple Patriots pick. That seems like another safe one. These are some pretty safe ones, I gotta
Okay.
say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You want a little? You want to mix it up? Okay. I will. I'll give you a risky one here.
Okay.
Will Eli Manning appear in a commercial during the broadcast? Not Peyton, but Eli.
No kidding. Has Eli been doing commercials this season?
I don't think I haven't seen much of him. Here's where I think. Here's where I think
Okay, yeah.
somebody knows something is I think because yes has better odds. So yes is -120, no is 110. So that means yes is the favorite. So I have a feeling maybe somebody knows something we don't know about the commercial lineup.
Because that just seems so out of nowhere.
Right, right.
Probably some sort of commercial where he's with Peyton.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. And I
Like
think it'll be
Peyton
fitting.
showing how bored he is in retirement or some crap like that. It's a nationwide commercial. I can definitely see that.
Okay, so you're gonna say yes, and it's a nationwide commercial.
Yeah. Or like it's a joke, like the whole joke of the commercial is about how Eli just isn't as good with um being the goofy commercial guy as Peyton
Ooh,
is.
ooh, that could be it. We'll see. We'll have to hold you to that. I'll have to pay attention and see if that comes up. Quick like dissertation here, or like a side. We'll get back to the prop bets in a second. But like, do you get excited for the Super Bowl commercials anymore? Because I really don't at all. I feel like I was talking about this earlier, like in the day. Like, when's the last time you've had like a good belly laugh at a like Super Bowl commercial? I feel like it's been a while.
Boy. I think part of what made it so funny to us is just like I don't know, they went for easy laughs and it's we were kids back then. Um I feel like it was one of the ones I think it was maybe like it was at the Panthers Cardinals Super Bowl is the last time I remember
Cardinals.
watching a commercial where I was just,
Are you talking about Panthers Broncos or Cardinals Steelers?
which one what did I say?
You said Panthers Cardinals.
Oh my bad. Steelers Cardinals. That
Oh God,
Steelers
that's a long
Cardinals
time
Super
ago.
Bowl is the last one in which I feel like I saw a commercial that really like made my was a real side splitter,
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't.
It was definitely during high school. It was
Right.
definitely at one of the ones in Max's house.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the Career Builder Monkeys is like the last commercial that really like had me dying.
Oh, that was a good one.
Those were good commercials. But yeah, I don't know. And maybe I'm just being like skeptical, cynical Beto here, but the commercials just kind of suck and they're kind of like they're not very inventive and they don't really take chances and I feel like you'll see like 4 or 5 like politically fused commercials. I
Uh,
don't know. I feel like people just don't really go out on a limb to try and be funny anymore in these commercials.
yep. It's just, and again, I feel like after so many years of it being so it's gotten so damn expensive, and it's become such a spectacle in of itself that I don't know. It's just like nothing you really do is kind of considered good enough, I guess. Just the
Yeah.
expectations that your commercial is supposed to be like really funny and inventive, kind of just ruins it. Kind of sets you up for failure.
Yeah.
And again, they're just commercials at the end.
Right. But I like to be amused. I like to be entertained. And I hope I'm proven
Yeah.
wrong, but I feel like there's just people who are just like so easily amused and it's like, what are you laughing at? These just aren't funny commercials anymore. But I digress. Let's get back to the props
Okay.
after that
Let's keep
brief
going.
aside. So let's forget about the commercials. Let's go to the halftime show. Do you know
Okay.
who's performing, Dell?
JT.
For the rest of the audience, who is that?
Justin Timberlake.
Okay. All right. So this is always I like this bet too, and it's kind
Okay,
of
I can see the list of songs that he's got here.
yeah. I'm not very well versed in like pop culture, so I just like, and I know Justin Timberlake, but I'm curious what you think. What will be his first song for the halftime show? Like, what will he lead with? The
Uh,
favorite to give you an idea. The favorite is "Can't Stop the Feeling,"
uh-huh.
and then second to that is "Sexy Back."
Yeah, I can see the list here.
Okay.
Field, Any Other Song is next. I don't think I've actually. I'm pretty sure I've heard that song. It's just playing on the radio. I just don't
Wait,
think I've
wait, wait,
ever.
wait, 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 wait. What? Field any other song? That's not his
Oh
song.
no, that's the Field. Any Other Song? I thought it was just the name
Oh
of an
my
A2 song.
God. Oh, well, you're new to gambling, so that's okay. Yes, that okay. That's gonna go in the vault of all-time Dell and Bato show moments. But yeah, the field is plus 200, so it's like got the third best odds, which isn't a bad bet.
God, I'd be easy prey at Vegas.
You would be. It'd be interesting. I'd like to see you at a blackjack table, but um,
Rock Your Body, very bold choice considering he was allowed back into the Super Bowl, and Janet Jackson wasn't after that whole incident.
yeah.
And that was the song in which that the whole what was the term they used? Wardrobe malfunction happened.
Nipplegate.
Nipplegate, yeah. So I feel like that'd be just a brazen like sort of choice in picking Rock Your Body.
Was that wait, was that actually the song that was going on when he did it? I don't remember.
Yeah, because the song ends with "I'm gonna have you naked" by the end of this song, and he's supposed
Oh,
to rip off like the outer part of her dress off, but I
oh.
guess just her whole cup just came off in his hand.
Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, so was that? So I don't remember, but okay. So which song is there? A song you think is a favorite? I have one in mind, and it's a little bit lower down the list, but I want to hear what you think first.
I'd say probably "Can't Stop the Feeling" is maybe a good one for him to start with because that's a recent hit. It's got like it's lighthearted. It's got a nice jump to it. It seems like definitely something you would have at the start of your set just to get like the whole crowd into it. Get the whole little crowd that they kind of put on the field like dancing and jumping to it. I'm gonna go with the safe bet here.
I think he's gonna lead off with "Filthy." His
Filthy.
newest
Okay, that's
song.
a good one.
His newest song, and I think that's got really low odds to be honest, because I don't know. I feel like he's been kind of pushing. That's the only song that I've heard on the radio from him. That's like one of his new songs.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like he's kind of pushing it. He's pushing a tour now because that's what you do now. You do the Super Bowl and you go on tour 2 months later. Um, I think he leads off with "Filthy," and then I think he'll go into all these other songs. Do you think he plays "Rock Your Body"?
Yeah, I say so.
Okay, okay. I don't know. We'll see. I hope it happens, and Roger comes out
For
with
the
like. I hope
controversy.
Roger comes out with like a fire hose and like just sprays everything down if he comes out to it and plays it.
he starts playing that song and then you just got like everyone operating the cameras just like they're on edge just because hoping he doesn't approach any of his backup dancers ready to just you know have another wardrobe malfunction. I can definitely see that in the set. I can't imagine "Cry Me a River" is going to be in the set. That's not much of a Super Bowl halftime show song.
Well, it could be if the game sucks.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue here. And there's still more halftime. I got plenty of halftime subjects for you. Real quick, uh, do you think Justin Timberlake appears? He begins the halftime show with headwear.
Oh, okay. I see this one.
Yes is a favorite here. Yeah.
Big favorite. Um, yeah, I think he's gonna keep it on too. Whatever headwear he's got, and it's just probably gonna be just a big, fedora. That's his thing. I
Okay.
think like he's gonna keep it on.
Okay. Okay. I say no. I have a feeling he's gonna maybe put one on during the show, but I don't think he starts the show with one.
Like night, like give it a little twist.
Because these guys,
Like
they
just
come out in
toss it
different
away.
costumes now. They go real quick and change and put on something else. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I think he does come out with headwear, or he does not come out with headwear. This is a fun one. Let's see. Total times that Dilly is said during the broadcast. Now it's just the way Bet DSI has it is just one Dilly. So like dilly dilly counts as two. So how many times is it said during the Super Bowl broadcast from kickoff to the final whistle? The over under is 12 and a half.
That is way too low if you're gonna count each dilly as one, as a full dilly.
I agree.
Okay, I'd at least say maybe. God, if it's gonna be every
I guess what you have to
whistle.
think of is how many Bud Light commercials do you think there'll be? I think there'll be 2 or 3.
3 is good, I'd say.
So you have to
I
think
think
they'll
of how
say,
many times there is a dilly in each Budweiser commercial. Even then, thinking about that, 12 and a half is still too low because each Budweiser commercial, it's dilly 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 dilly. It's like you're already up at like 9, 10.
yeah, I say over. I say way over. I say like 20 dillies.
They must be only planning 1 or 2 Bud Light commercials if they're gonna do just that.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
Um,
two Bud commercials tops.
and that's what kind of makes you think, because sometimes when the books come out with like numbers like this, even if it's for a regular football game spread, you kind of have a hunch that something's up. Like they must know something. It's a fish. They call it a fishy line in the gambling industry. So I say over, but we'll see. I'll try and count. I don't know. We'll see if I can count the dillies in between chicken wings. Um, okay, a little rapid fire here. Will Britney Spears make a halftime show appearance?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Will Janet Jackson make a halftime show appearance?
You know what? Yes.
Wow. Okay. If this happens, you're going to win a lot of money because these are both
Nobody
heavy.
likes bad press. And I
That's
feel like
true.
they deservedly would get bad press if they, again, brought him back but didn't bring Janet Jackson back.
Okay. Okay. Fair
Considering
enough.
all Janet Jackson did was just have like a poorly constructed dress for that performance.
Yeah, definitely. Will Tony Romo make a halftime show appearance?
This one's out of nowhere. I don't get the rationale for this one.
I'd put $5 on it just to see if he comes out dancing with JT.
Okay, so if you're putting in $5 for minus 2,000, what would you get if he does show up?
Oh, if I put it on yes, I think you would make a $500.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Tony Romo making a halftime show appearance. This isn't even a Fox broadcast, or a CBS broadcast. So I just don't see any reason for it. Are
Yeah.
he and JT big friends?
Maybe. You never know. I
Okay,
think it's
that just seems out of nowhere.
okay. How about this one? Will any member of NSYNC make a halftime? This is a popular one. A lot of people have been talking about this. Will
I
anyone?
like that too. I'm going to say yes
So
too.
you think Britney? You think Janet? And are they all going to do like one dance together? Maybe to like Cry Me a River, like you said.
Yeah, or one of the like really early in sync. If they do bring in sync back, they're definitely going to play something like Bye 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 back when they were, on top of the pop world and Britney was also just queen of the pop world.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that happening.
Okay. Okay. We'll see.
Nostalgia is big nowadays.
That's true. We all want to go back to the '90s. So, okay, we'll do a few more here, and then we'll wrap up with our game predictions. What color of liquid will be thrown on the winning coach in the for the Gatorade dunk after the game? Just a little stat for you here: 6 out of the last 8 Super Bowl winning coaches have gotten a Gatorade bath in clear water.
Ah, okay. I noticed. Let's see. Uh no liquid.
I say orange. Damn it.
Yeah, why not? I'm gonna go with let's see, green, yellow. That's a pretty. I've never seen much green Gatorade, just yellowish.
Yeah, I've never seen
Um,
green either. Some of these odds are kind of weird.
I'm gonna be boring and say it's gonna be clear water because it's gonna be on Belichick. I'm spoiling my Super Bowl pick early. I'm gonna say because it's on Belichick, and Belichick is just not one for excitement at all. I'm gonna say they're just gonna pour clear water on him.
I say orange. I just always go orange. I feel like it's the most popular Gatorade flavor. Um, okay, I saw a different number at Bovada than I did here, so I'll give you the higher number because this one has total number of Donald Trump tweets during the game, and it says 2.5. I'm gonna raise that because I think he's gonna definitely tweet more than 2.5 times. The one I saw in Bovada was total number of tweets from Donald Trump on February 4th. So not just during the game, but like
But
the
just
whole day.
all Super Bowl Sunday.
And the over under was 5.
Uh-huh. I can see more. Yeah, I can see definitely five's good. I'd take the over on Super Bowl Sunday. Um, just because his good pal Tom Brady's going to be in it, so I could see him saying all sorts of crap about how successful the Patriots are, how he hopes to replicate that sort of success in making America great again, and yada yada yada, all what all that other crap. Um, yeah, I'll take that over on the number of tweets for Super Bowl Sunday. And again, expecting the Patriots to win. In terms of this bet DSI bet, where it's just how many tweets he has during the game, 2.5 being the over under. I'm going to say on the over too.
I think over 2.5. I say under 5 though. He's a
Okay.
little quiet. I think, he got kind of his spiel done with the State of the Union. I think he's going to be a little quiet, enjoy the game, have some McDonald's, Diet Coke. I think he's just going to relax with Melania and just, enjoy the game.
We're talking about Donald Trump, right?
But everyone likes to have a chill Sunday, Sunday fun day. So I don't think he's going to be tweeting too much. I think he's going to be in Mar-a-Lago enjoying his, whatever he's having, and I think he's going to be quiet. We'll see. I actually bet on that one, so we'll see if that pans out.
You know what would really send that tweet number over? If Jay-Z makes an appearance.
Oh, man. Or if players kneel. That's what I'm scared of. I'm scared someone's
going to players kneel, or if just like Jay-Z or just any black artist, just any of them show up and say anything mildly critical of Trump directly, or something that could be misconstrued as mildly critical.
Yeah.
Or he gets pissed off just because he sees a black person on the TV. I could definitely see that being set way past the over.
We'll see. I went under, and I have a feeling I'm going to be wrong on that one, but we'll see. Maybe the Donald can surprise us. That is all I got for prop bets. So let's wrap up with. So you've kind of already conveyed your pick, but I'll have you do one more. Who's going to win the game? What's the score? And your Super Bowl MVP?
So the Pats, of course. I'm going to say 27-23. And frickin' Brady again for the MVP.
All right, Tom Brady, Patriot. What was your score again? 27 what? 23?
27-23.
Okay, I like it. So yeah, that's right on the spread too. So that's an interesting pick. I will go the Patriots as well, as much as it pains me to say, 26-20. And for my MVP, there's a few options here. I tend to go for Brady is the obvious choice, and I understand why anybody would bet on him to win Super Bowl MVP. When I bet Super Bowl MVP, I kind of like to go against the grain and find a guy with some value. So a guy who kind of jumps out to me, and this is bet DSI's odds, so I'm not sure if this is the same across the different sports books. Brandon Cooks. I really don't think Philadelphia's secondary is very good. And I think it's played well enough thanks to its pass rush. But I think there's a chance Cooks could bust a couple of big plays. One goes for a touchdown. He might only have to go 110 and a touchdown to do it if it's kind of a lower scoring game in the 20s. So I'll take Brandon Cooks as my MVP, and I have the Patriots 26-20.
And I really like that one, because we did note earlier Brandon Cooks is definitely the big play guy. I think he also is like among the league leaders, if not the leader, in like drawing pass interference calls. So yeah, he's definitely someone who's going to have like one of the highlight reel plays of the game.
Definitely.
Winning or losing effort, he's going to have a big catch, I think.
Yeah, I think he could have a big player too, and I think that might be all it takes. And if you're looking for even better odds, Brandon Cooks is plus 2,200, so that's 220 to 1, I think, or 22. I can't remember. I can never calculate it, but I think it's either 20. I think it's 22 to 1. I'm sorry. So
these bets that are going, like, if you go way down the list, Marcus Johnson, Wendell Smallwood, Brandon Bolden, man, that's some big money, 50 grand.
Yeah, it is. And some other like interesting picks if you're kind of really trying to go like against the grain. I like any of the cornerbacks on New England, because you got to think about. And yes, it is plus 2,200 is 22 to 1. I always get that mixed up. So just for clarification, it's 22 to 1. But Malcolm Butler, Stephon Gilmore, Devin McCourty, a pick six maybe against Nick Foles, who
Yeah, I could see that.
It could happen. I could see it happening if you're looking for a bigger long shot. And I think if you're looking for someone to bet on Philadelphia, I kind of like, let's see. I don't know. I like someone who can disrupt the passer. So maybe Brandon Graham. He's plus 13,500. So that's 135 to 1.
That's a really
Um,
big one for someone like Brandon Graham.
their sack leader, Fletcher Cox,
Jenkins.
is 125 to 1. So if you're looking for someone on the defensive side of the ball, it could be a disruption. Either of those guys, I think, because Philly.
That pass rush is going to be their biggest, their A factor. So it would definitely be like someone like Cox or Graham if it's got to go, or if it's got to go to someone on the Eagles.
Definitely.
That's what it'll take. James Harrison, a nice, interesting
He could be.
place down the line, way down the line at 22,500.
So that's 225.
At 225. That'd be a great little narrative.
It really would be. I agree. Yeah. Listen, if you got the money to blow and you want to take just long shots across the board, I totally get that for Super Bowl MVP because it really is a crapshoot. Who had that Broncos linebacker? I can't remember now who it was. I think it wasn't Trevathan, it was someone else who had like the pick six and the safety or something. So guys have been disruptive defensively. It could happen. You never know. So.
Yep. Well, we'll see. Let's just hope for something entertaining.
See which ones came through, which ones were horribly wrong. But to wrap, Dell has the Patriots winning 27 to 23, and he has Brady as his MVP. I have the Patriots begrudgingly winning 26 to 20, and I picked Brandon Cooks as my MVP. Thank you very much for listening to the Dell and Bato Show. Be sure to follow Dell on Twitter. Dell, I can never remember your Twitter handle anymore because it changes, it seems like, every day.
I'm actually just straight off Twitter for the time being. That account's gone.
You deleted it?
Yeah, I was kind of breaking my sort of vow to stay off Twitter a little bit by just not tweeting, but just kind of lurking a bit. I do intend to come back to Twitter with just like a new account at some point. But for now, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at Dell and Bato. Dell with one L, Bato, Bato, all one word, Dell and Bato.
Okay, so there you go. Dell's off Twitter. Well, that might be what we have to do our next episode on, is why you got off Twitter and why Twitter is kind of like killing like the way we process information and how we argue with people, because I do have some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So maybe not so much a sports show. Maybe we can do a little bit of Super Bowl stuff, but that could be something fun to do. As I really want to hear why you got off of Twitter. But
I'm all for it.
And of course, follow me if you so choose at Real Matt Barbato. Make sure you get the real in there. There is only one of me, so make sure you follow the authentic Matt Barbato, not the fake ones. There's lots of fake accounts.
And in any case, he is the one with the check mark.
Yes, there you go. The blue check mark, baby. I am better than you because I have a blue check mark on Twitter. On that note, we hope you enjoy the Super Bowl, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dylan Bato Show. And we'll talk to you again real soon.
Have a good one, folks.
God bless.